All right, shalom, shalom. First off, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, HaKodash, Shalom Yom. With Yahweh being the true name of the Heavenly Father, who the world calls God, and Yahweh Shai being the true name of the Lord and Savior of the nation of Israel, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. I want to give double honor to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach the world well, and also want to say peace and blessing to the Lord's elect. All right, this is Brother Mashal. Come back at you with a quick lesson through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shai. Representing the Cleveland Church of Great Millstone, I don't say the water Yahweh Bashem Shai, forgiving the Spirit and having the mercy for allowing me to do this lesson. And the title of this lesson will be the 12 tribes chart and prophecy. All right, the 12 tribes chart and prophecy. Now I was gonna go live, but I got kind of distracted right when I was about to go live, so I just decided to do a screen recording or whatnot. And this is a very important topic because this is a stumbling block in the nation of Israel, and especially a stumbling block for people that are just coming in. I was watching Elder Apostle Tahar's lesson about Elijah the prophet this morning. This will kind of give me the inspiration to do the lesson, and he was mentioning Ezekiel 37. That's where the 12 tribes chart is mentioned. And we're going to break that down, and then we're going to get some precepts, and we're going to close it out, and Lord willing, us will be edifying. All right, so we're going to start off in Ezekiel 37, and we're going to start at verse 15. All right, in the 12 tribes chart, let's do this real quick. Let's look at the 12 tribes chart. All right, this is the 12 tribes chart. All right, now it has the 12 tribes on the left side and what the bywords are, right? That's part of the curses in Deuteronomy 28, that we will be a proverb and a byword. All right. So what is a byword? Basically like a nickname. It's not your name, but it's what people call you. All right. So instead of us being the tribe of Judah, right, or Yahweh, we've been labeled as Negroes. Instead of the tribe of Benjamin or Banyamin, we will be labeled as the West Indians, okay, or the Jamaicans. Instead of the tribe of Levi or Loya, we will be considered the Haitians, right? Simeon is Shamaiwan. Shamawan is Dominicans. All right. So these are just examples. Continue on. Zebulun, Zabalawan, Guatemala to Panama, Ephraim, which is Aparium, in the Paleo Hebrew. Those would be the so-called Puerto Ricans. Okay, Manasseh, which is Manasha, which would be the Cubans. Gad, which would be God, is the North American Indians. Reuben, Ra'aban, which are so-called the Seminole Indians. Okay. Naphtali is Napathalia, and those brothers and sisters and children are from Argentina to Chile. Okay, Asher, which is Ashar, is Colombia to Uruguay, and Issachar, which is Yashashkar, are the so-called Mexicans. Okay, so these are the name that the Lord gave us on the left side, and who the world calls us. Okay. The world calls us on the right side, and let's get this real quick, because this is a portion of the covering cast, right? Isaiah 26, I believe. Or is it 24? Let me get this real quick. Salakia. Isaiah 25, Salakia. Isaiah 25 and verse 7, it says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. You see that the covering cast is the barrier that was put up to separate people from the Bible. Okay, so now there are no more. It's so-called no more Edomites. Now it's just white folks, right? Now there's no more Elamites. Now they're East Indians. Okay. Now there's no more Moabites. Now they're just Chinese people. You see, that's the covering cast that's been thrown over to hide the true identity, to try to throw off biblical prophecy. Because if you don't know who you are according to the scriptures, then you're really lost out here, right? So the Lord is going to destroy the covering cast over all the people. All right. So let's go back to Ezekiel 37, because the 12 tribes chart is what the Lord called us, and the covering cast is what on the names on the right side. All right. Now, and I want to get this point out the way too, is because when you see the 12 tribes chart, that doesn't mean that all 12 tribes are just these people. Okay, the scripture says that the 12 tribes will be scattered abroad, right? Let me get that real quick. James 1:1. It says, James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. And when you go to that word scattered, it means diaspora. Okay, we've been dispersed, but what the concentration of the Israelites will be here in North and South America, and mainly North America. Okay, those are the concentration, but the 12 tribes are scattered all over the world. The elect are scattered all over the world. Okay, so don't get confused when you read or see the 12 tribe chart, and you see that Judah is the so-called Negroes, and you just think that, or let's say Ephraim, right? Let's say Ephraim is the so-called Puerto Ricans. Now, all the Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico are Israelites. Some of them are Edomites. Some of them are Hamites. Some of them are Ishmaelites. All right, but the concentration of Ephraim, which would be in Puerto Rico. Okay, but just because the concentrations in Puerto Rico doesn't mean you don't have Ephraimites in let's say Europe, and let's say Africa, and let's say Japan. Okay, we're all scattered abroad. Okay, so we can't get it twisted when we see the 12 tribes chart and just say, okay, Judah is just all Negroes, Benjamin is just all Jamaicans, right? Gad is just all Native Americans. We can't do that because we're scattered all abroad. All right, and we can't look on outside appearances to try to make it try to justify the 12 tribes chart. All right, so let's get Ezekiel 37 and 15. It says, the word of the Lord Yahweh came again unto me, saying, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah, which was the southern kingdom, and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, which represents the northern kingdom. Okay, when the tribes were split, when we get to we're going to get to history in 1 Kings 11. Okay, but when the tribes were split because of Solomon's disobedience, we were one nation, but then the Lord split us into two nations. Okay, with Judah being the top tribe of the southern kingdom, and Ephraim being the top tribe of the northern kingdom. All right. It says, verse 17, it says, and join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. And see, that's what happens now. Okay, the northern kingdom and southern kingdom are joined back together. Okay, through biblical prophecy. All right, now before we get there, let's go to 1 Kings and get the history on the split. 1 Kings 11. In verse 9, it says, and the Lord was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from the Lord power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice. Okay, because why? When you read up in the chapter, because it says that Solomon loved many strange women. Okay, and he started to build altars to these women, and worshiping their gods. All right, so Solomon fell way off, man. Okay, so what did the Lord do? He split the kingdoms. All right. Verse 10, it says, and had commanded him concerning this thing that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which Yahweh commanded. It says, wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done unto thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee and will give it to thy servant. Okay, that rend means take. All right. So this is the account where the Lord took the kingdom from Solomon. All right. And what did he do? He gave it to his two sons. Okay. Rehoboam and Jeroboam. All right. Let's see. Do I want to continue? Let's jump down to verse. Let's see. Verse 29. It says, and it came to pass at the time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah, the Shilonite, found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field. It says, and Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces. Now this is a dark saying. Okay. It says, and he said unto Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces. Okay. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the power of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. See, so Jeroboam was made king over the northern kingdom. Okay, and his brother Rehoboam was made king over the southern kingdom. Yeah, that's it. So so the kingdom was stripped from Solomon and given to his sons, Rehoboam and Jeroboam. All right. Now let's go to real quick. Let's go to Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. Uh, 47 and verse 19. It says, thou didst bow thy loins unto women. This is talking about Solomon. Okay, thou didst bow thy loins to women, and by thy body thou was brought into subjection. For thou didst stain thy honor and pollute thy seed, so that thou broughtest wrath upon thy children, and was grief with for thy folly. You see, that was great folly to be worshiping women and bowing to their idols and worshiping their gods. That was complete folly. Okay, but that just shows you how quickly things can change, right? Because Solomon was a man that feared Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. Okay, but in the latter stages of his life, what he fell off. You know, so this is why we continue to pray that we stay in the spirit. Verse 21. It says, so the kingdom was divided. Okay, this is the account in Ezekiel 37. It said in 1 Kings 11. It says, so the kingdom was divided, and out of Ephraim ruled a rebellious kingdom. Okay, because none of the kings of the northern kingdom were righteous. They all went off. They all worship idols. They all worship different gods. Okay, well, absolutely zero kings of the northern kingdom were righteous, and I believe only 4 kings of the southern kingdom were righteous. Okay, so basically all 12 tribes were completely went left field, except for 4 different instances of the southern kingdom where there were righteous kings. All right, so that's what happened when the Lord rent the kingdom from Solomon and split it in 2. Okay, but what's going to happen though? Verse 22. It says, but the Lord will never leave off his mercy, neither shall any of his works perish, neither will he abolish the posterity of his elect, and the seed of him that loveth him he will not take away. Wherefore he gave a remnant unto Jacob, and out of him a root unto David. Okay, and Lord willing, you know, I'm part of that number, and Lord willing, meant the different men and women are part of the number that's watching this lesson. Okay, because even though the Lord turned his back on us, he used Yahushua to be that mediator. Okay, so this is why the 12 tribes chart is so important, because now it shows us that we're back as one in who we are and where we would be, because you can read the characteristics in Genesis 49 and throughout the scriptures of how the different tribes will operate. All right, they're where they would be at. Okay, so when we go, let's go to let's go back to Ezekiel 37 and continue on. Ezekiel 37. And verse 17 again, it says, "And join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand." And this is what you see right here. This is the stick of Ephraim, which is these 12 tribes down here, right? Okay, and the stick of Judah, which would be these top three tribes right here. Okay, now they're at one stick in nine hand. Now we're all one nation again. Now we've come back. Now the Lord is dealing with us again through Yahweh Shai. All right. So when we go, let's go to let's see if I want to keep going. Let's keep going for a second. Verse 19. It says, Ezekiel 37 and 19, it says, "Saying to them, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, and I will put them with him, even the stick of Judah, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes." It says, and say unto them, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen. You see, from among the heathen we were scattered, right? Whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. You see, so the northern kingdom was scattered also, because the northern kingdom had their sort of their own slave trade also. Okay, just like the southern kingdom was part of that slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade. You had northern kingdom being traded also. Okay, what do you think that the conquistadors were doing when Cristobal Colon, which the world ignorantly calls Christopher Columbus, he didn't come to America. He came to the islands. Okay, to the so-called Caribbean. All right. Verse 22. It says, "And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountain of Israel, and one king shall be to them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all." You see, so now we're not two different nations. Now we're one nation, and this is why you see Judites on the line with Ephraimites, right? This is why you see Issacharites preaching the word with Benjamites. All right, because it's all prophecy that we would come back and we would be as one. Let's continue on. All right, so it says that they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore, into two kingdoms anymore at all. Okay, and that started with who? The Judites first. Well, it's the southern kingdom, I'm gonna say. Okay, because that was biblical prophecy that the tents of Judah had to be raised up first. Let's go to Zechariah 12. In 7, it says, "And Yahweh also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David, Dawadah, and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. All right, so Judah had to be raised up first. Okay, because Judah is the top tribe in Israel. Why? Because Yahushua is from the tribe of Judah. So what is it? Now through Judah, the whole nation is being raised up. And this is why that middle wall of partition has been broken down. Okay, when you read about the Gentiles being brought back in, those were mainly the southern kingdom that was going off. But because why? Because they were from the tribe of Judah. Okay, the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right, so Judah had to be raised up. Let's get that real quick. Let's get that. Let's go to Ephesians 2. And I'm going to start at verse 11. It says, "Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands." Okay, because why? Because at a point in time we were Gentiles in the flesh. Why? Because we were worshiping idols. We didn't know our heritage. We were celebrating Christmas and New Year's and our birthdays. That's what made us Gentiles. That's what made us uncircumcised. Okay? By who? Now, it says by who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision. Okay, why? Because the Jews who knew they were Israelites were separated themselves for the ones that didn't know that they were Israelites, right? But it says what? Verse 12. "At that time you were without Hamashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel." Okay, being excluded from the commonwealth of Israel. What is the commonwealth? The benefits, right? The benefits of being a Jew. The Apostle Paul talked about that in Romans the 3rd chapter. I forgot how it went exactly. Let me get that real quick, and I'm gonna come right back. What was I quoting? Romans 3. The body up, Shah. He said, "What profit?" Romans 3:1. It says, "What advantage then hath the Jew, or what profit is there of circumcision?" It says, "Much every way, chiefly." You see, much every way. That was the advantage of being a Jew, knowing that you were Israelite, knowing the customs, okay, knowing the holy days. That's what the advantage was. That's what made us strangers of the covenant. Because without the prophecies, we wouldn't know who we would be. Okay, and in Ezekiel 37, we're going to continue on, but it tells you what this sign is for, right? But continuing on to Romans 3, verse 2, it says, "Much every way chiefly, because that unto them were committed the oracles of the Most High." Okay, and spiritually now we're the circumcision. Okay, and what are we doing? Now we're telling the uncircumcision, which are the ones who thinks they're American, the ones that think they're black and Hispanic, right? And Indians or Buddhists or Islamic. Those are the ones that are now uncircumcised spiritually. So this is what we're doing now. We're breaking down the middle wall of partition, and that all begins with Yahushua. All right. So going back to Ephesians, the 2nd chapter. Ephesians 2:12. At that time you were without Hamashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without the heavenly Father in the world. Verse 13, it says, "But now in Hamashiach Yahushua, ye who sometimes were far off and are made nigh by the blood of Yahushua, Hamashiach." All right, so now we're brought back into the covenant by the blood of Yahushua. Okay, and by the blood of Yahushua, what happened? Let's get it. Let's get it. See, the scriptures line up perfectly, man. Let's get to the point. Revelation 5 and verse 5. It says, "And one of the elders saith unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah," right, which is Yahushua, the root of David, meaning the seed line of David, okay, the lineage of David, have prevailed to open the book and to loose the seven seals thereof. Okay, so now the understanding of the scriptures was opened up through the blood of Yahushua. So now what? Now the understanding of the 12 tribes chart was given to us through the Holy Spirit. All right, because this was a mystery. All right, let's get now let's go back and let's get this last verse in Ephesians 2. It says, verse 14, it says, "For he is our peace, who have made both one." It says, "and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us." So now the circumcision and uncircumcision are made one through what? Through faith. Okay, and those were chiefly the southern kingdom, the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay, but you had a sprinkling of the northern kingdom still in the land. Okay, but the majority of them were already over here in the Americas. Let's go to 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter. And verse 40. It says, "Those are the 10 tribes, okay, the northern kingdom, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land." Okay, and this is what happened. Okay, when the kingdom was split, okay, the southern kingdom went into captivity to the Babylonians, and the northern kingdom went into captivity to the Assyrians. All right. It says, "carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land." Okay, but what's going to happen? It says, verse 41. It says, but they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. And that country is America, okay, which is what the scriptures call it, Arsareth, or new land. All right. It says that they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. Okay, so when they came over to the Americas, this is why you have different artifacts that's been discovered. You have the Moabite stone, right? You have the Declar stone. What's it called? In New Mexico. I forgot what it's exactly called, but it had the 10 Commandments written on the side of like some rocks. Okay, in the Paleo Hebrew, it's a whole lot of artifacts that were found, right? That were made known, because we already know how Esau gets down. He'll find something and then he'll hide it to keep you from the truth. So these are just the artifacts that were discovered and made public. All right. It says, "and they enter into the Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river." It says, "For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over." Okay, and what are the signs? That they used the stars to guide them. Because why? Because the Issachar was given the blessing to be able to read the stars. All right, that was part of one of the blessings that the Lord gave them. Okay, so those were the signs that they used to get over to the Americas, and held still the flood. Okay, which is what the rough waters that they had to go overpass in order to get to the Americas. All right. Verse 45. It says, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth. Okay, so this journey took them a year and a half. Now, how do we know that Arsareth is America, and the northern kingdom went to America? Is why? Because when you read about Solomon's army, when he sent the Hamites to go retrieve gold and precious stones and peacocks and things that were already over here, okay, Solomon used his navy. How long did it take? It took 3 years. Okay, now why did it take 3 years? Because it took 1.5 years to get there and 1.5 years to get back. You see? So Solomon already knew that there was land over here. Okay, so this is why it only took the Northern Kingdom a 1.5 years to get over here, because they only made a one-way trip. So the Northern Kingdom was already over here. Right? So when we look at the 12 tribes chart, we see the Northern Kingdom and the affliction that they had to go through. Because why? Because they had to deal with the conquistadors and the Edomites, because of the land of the doctrine of discovery, right? Manifest destiny. And who are these people? Right here. All of these men, women, and children went through hell through the Edomites, man. All right. So the Northern Kingdom was already over here. Then how did we get over here? All right. Let's we already know about the prophet, the curses, right? That we would go to the slavery on slave ships, right? That's one precept that can prove that. But it's another one. Where is that at? I believe it's in Joel. I believe it's in Joel 3. Let's see. Yep, let's just start at verse Joel 3. In verse 3, it says, "And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink." You see, they were selling us off. Okay, and this is talking about the Southern Kingdom. All right, when we were on the west coast of Africa, all right, when we fled from persecution in 70 AD, roughly 70 AD. Okay, we fled into Egypt. Chiefly, the concentration of the Southern Kingdom fled into Egypt. But what happened? Some fled into Europe. Some fled into like northern Russia, right, up in that area, Germany, right. Some fled into India, into China. Okay. That's why Yahushua said to flee into the mountains. All right. But the majority fled into Egypt. Okay. And then from Egypt, we migrated down to the west coast of Africa, right? In Nigeria. You know what? Let's see. Let me get this real quick. Let's get a map where we fled to. All right. So we fled, right? Here we go. Israel over here. So we fled into Egypt. Here we go, Egypt over here. And then we migrated to the west coast of Africa, okay? So most of these people, I'm not going to say all, but most of these people are Israelites, okay? So then from here, what happened? We were sold by the Hamites to the Edomites. This is where we get this account from. Okay, the Hamites sold us, right? Yea, what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, I will return your recompense upon your own head, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. Okay, and Tyre and Zidon is a nation of Hamites. All right. It says, verse 6 at the point, it says, "The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians." Who? The Grecians, the Edomites, that ye might remove them far from their border. All right. But what happened? It said, behold, I will raise them out of the place where ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. You see? So we were sold by these Hamites to the Grecians, the Edomites. And then what happened? The transatlantic slave trade. Now we're oppressed together. Okay, let's get that real quick, and then we'll probably close it out. Jeremiah 50. And 33. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, of armies, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. All that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. You see, now all these people are oppressed together, man. But now we're all back in around the same area. Okay. So you have where the Southern Kingdom was brought over here to the Americas. Okay, and now we were reunited with the Northern Kingdom. That's how we were oppressed together. Okay, because the only other time that we were oppressed together was in Egypt. All right. Only time that we were oppressed together were when we were in Egypt. So when it says when you read Jeremiah 50, 51, and it talks about Babylon, it's talking about the prophetic daughter of Babylon. Okay, the Babylon that we're in right now. All right, so it says that they were oppressed together, the children of Israel and the children of Judah. Now we're back as one. All right, all that took them captive held them fast, and they refused to let them go because we are yet this day in their captivity. Okay, so the 12 tribes chart just shows us who we are in relation to biblical prophecy. Because you have people that think that all 12 tribes are Negro, when that could be furthest from the truth. All right, because when you do the history and you see the hell that the Northern Kingdom went through, you start to see like, damn, man, they got it just as good as we got it. Because while we were picking cotton, okay, the Southern Kingdom, all right, we were also picking or in the tobacco fields, right? The Northern Kingdom. So when you look at that aspect, we were all jacked up, man, because of our disobedience. When the scripture says that Judah, let's get that real quick. I'm gonna finish this, and then we're gonna get the last precept. Yep, all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. But what happened? It says their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. And Jerusalem, Israel, is a people before it's a place. So that's how the Lord is going to give rest to the land. Or rest to who? These people, the 12 tribes of Israel, because they're the ones that deserve rest. They're the ones that have the promises given to them. They're the ones that's coming back to their nationality, their heritage, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Ashai. Because why? Because our Redeemer is strong. All right, and now we're giving rest spiritually right now, and then physically that rest is going to come in the form of the kingdom of heaven. But right now we're at rest, we're at ease, because we know what's going on. We understand that we're going to go through hell. We understand that through that hell we're going to receive a great reward. All right, but the 12 tribes chart is all biblical prophecy.